problem. Why are nice people the most lonely? It's easy to be the nice girl, the super smiley, easy to get along with, easygoing, would never hurt anyone's feelings sort of person. The sort of person that everyone would describe as just nice. Hey, that was me for a really long time. I felt like I had no personality. At the forefront of my mind to be to everyone was to be nice, to be kind, to be friendly, to be positive. I didn't want to ever show like the negative or maybe sad side of me. I feel like I became one-dimensional, only showing the part of me that was nice. Slowly over time, I don't know when it happened, but it became easier to just pretend than to actually be myself. Maybe not pretending, but I felt like I was emphasizing one part of myself and then ignoring the other. It made me question things like, why do I feel so lonely? Why do I feel like I just don't have that many friends? Why do I feel like I ask everyone about themselves, but then they never ask anything about me? Why am I too scared to be honest? Why can't I be myself? Why are nice people the most lonely? Let's unpack all that and more in this video. I don't know who else can resonate with this, being the person that's just super nice. Like, no matter what circle of friends you're in, no matter what group, family setting, like, you're just a nice person. You'll stop and wait when someone's tying their shoelaces, or you'll be in a group setting of multiple people and someone's being ignored. Someone's just kind of like not saying anything, they're not involved in the convo, and you are the nice person that just involves them. You ask them a question, you ask their opinion, or what do you think? You're just the nice person. I feel like as the time's gone by, I feel like these people are the most lonely, and I don't know why until I started to dig deep into the notes of this video. To some extent, I feel like being nice replaces your personality. It can happen to different people for different reasons. For me, I just felt like I was so insecure and so shy that I didn't actually have an opinion, and I was never ever controversial. I could never like speak up in a really bold way. So then, because I didn't have a bold, controversial side of me, I just became nice. And like I said in the intro, I just emphasized one part of me and then ignored the other. The part of me that I just wasn't sure on and literally hadn't really built out, I just kind of like set that to the side and never let it grow and never let it develop. It's kind of like you strengthen one arm muscle and you keep like doing bicep curls or whatever this is. Like you keep working out this arm because that's familiar, that feels safe, and then you never ever like grow this arm. Like this part of you, the real side of you, the negative, bold, like controversial, like unpopular opinion side of you, is never going to grow, and the world never sees that person. Being nice replaces your personality. It's a bit of a problem because no matter how nice you are, if anything, the more nice you are, the more boring you are, which I know sounds awful, but people that are nice are very commonly lonely because I feel like people are magnetized to like personality. People want opinion. People don't want you to sit on the fence and like just flip-flop between ideas and opinions. Like you need to kind of really sit on either side of the fence to attract your tribe. When I was like super duper nice, like the smiley person, the super happy-go-lucky person, I felt like I was doing it to make friends. Like I felt like I needed to be that person in order to have them like me, and honestly that couldn't have been further from the truth because I feel like it repels certain people that can just like see through it and see that you're not being fake but just not being yourself. And I just feel like even other people who are also nice, because sometimes you're gonna be that super nice person, you'll meet another super nice person, but you never like, I don't know, like whenever I met them it just never really clicked and I never really stayed friends. And I think it's because you're too scared to like make a move and to like take that step. Like you're too scared to go out of your comfort zone and like try and like bond and meet up with them outside of uni, outside of work, like meet them at home, go for a meal. Like you're too scared to take that step to actually like build the friendship. And to be honest, I think that's because when you're nice you have a fear of being a burden. Like you're too scared to ask people for help, or you're too scared to ask people to like do you a favor, like come over to my house, like let's come study together, or let's have a meal together, like, let's cook, let's do something like outside of our normal day-to-day. Like you're too scared to ask people for their time, which when you say it like that can directly point to how you would become lonely. If you're too scared to ask people for their time, for just their company, then obviously you're not going to make the steps to build that friendship, and then that will make you to become more lonely. I definitely had a phase where I was way too scared of being a burden. At the time I didn't think of it like that. It's only now when I was like sitting down and typing up notes for this video that I was like, oh my god, I was literally terrified to ask anyone for anything. Like I would literally be so self-sufficient and independent in a good way. Like I think it's a really good quality to have, to be independent, but I was just so independent friendship wise. Like I could sit on my own for hours, I could have all the weekends just being by myself, but I would never ever ask for more. Like, I was just too scared. I literally back in the day would like wait for other people to initiate, because I thought, okay, that's a sign that then they want to be my friend. Like, I have to wait for them. And you can have your social life be like that, where you outsource all of the initiative to everyone else. You're going to wait for them to make the first move, but honestly, you're going to be waiting a very long time. And then not only are you going to be waiting a long time, your whole social life is out of your hands. Like, it's out of your control almost. Whether you make friends, whether you have evening plans, weekend plans, fun things to do in the summer, like, that's all out of your hands because you're waiting for everyone else. And I found over time, like, the more I've actually stepped out of my comfort zone to ask people to meet up, like, literally just can we go for a coffee? Like, are you free next weekend? Like, let's do something. Like, each time I've asked, the other person has always felt the same. Like, they've also wanted to meet up, but then they've been like nervous to ask. Like, you'd be shocked the amount of times that you're in the same boat as someone else, but you're just too scared to say. Similar to this point, another reason why nice people are the most lonely is because we're too scared to open up. I think to some extent being nice is a bit of a facade. Like, and I don't mean that in a horrible way if you're still one of those super nice people. I'm honestly saying it as a place from, like, I've been there. I think when you're being too nice, because there is such a thing as being too nice, I think honestly you're like covering up parts of yourself that you might be like shy and insecure about, which is totally okay. Like, that's a very fair coping mechanism, and if anything, it's probably one of the better ones. Some people that are shy and insecure end up bullying other people, and I mean, that's a lot worse. So being too nice is honestly fair enough, but fair enough as a coping mechanism. Like, that's totally okay. But I just feel like part of the reason why you're so nice is because you're scared that people won't like the real you, that you maybe haven't figured out yet. You don't know who you are fully. You've had an identity crisis, and you just don't even know you don't even know who you are. Like, identity crises are so wild. Like, it literally frazzles your whole mind. Like, you don't know who you are. So it's totally fair that you'd cover all that up and just be nice, be smiley. Like you're just that person that opens the door open for everyone. Like, you just do everything like by the book and so thoughtfully. But it's normally a sign that you're covering up who you are. And the thing is, to make those deep friendships that you really, really want, where people like know you inside out and they know who you are, they know like what you've been through, and they understand why you do your little quirks. Like, if you want those sorts of friends, you have to open up. Like, they can't know all the nuances that you have and the little quirks that you have if you don't tell them. Opening up is scary, because anyone who's probably scared to open up has probably been through a time or situation that's taught them that they shouldn't open up. Like, they've probably been through like a bad friendship or a bad breakup or family, which is always the worst because that's when it's like the closest to home. Like, you've probably been through a really, really tough time that's taught you not to open up and not to share your feelings. So then to unlearn that and unlearn that actually, no, it's okay to trust new people. It's okay to put yourself out there. It's okay to share something that you've not shared it ever before. Like, you know, you don't have to gatekeep yourself. You don't have to gatekeep your feelings. It is okay to open up and share. And if anything, if you do that enough times, you'll become more and more comfortable with it. Like, I can't believe the 180 that I've done. Like, sometimes I think about who I was and how shy and insecure and scared I was, and I think about how open I am now and how I'm literally a chatterbox. Like, if you meet me in real life, I will not stop talking. Like, and it's all because you just have to take like little steps to push yourself out of your comfort zone. When it comes to making friends and trying to start to live the social life that you really want to live, it's counterintuitive, but being selfish is actually good for you. Like, sometimes I think when you're like a super nice person, you're actually thinking about other people too much. You're thinking about everyone else way too much, and you're putting their needs before you, and you don't even realize that the extent to which you're thinking about other people is actually like counterproductive. You're thinking so much about them that it's actually hurting your chances of making friends rather than helping your chances of making friends. For example, if you're super nice and doing all the things that I've mentioned so far in the video, like holding the door open for people, waiting for them when they need to tie their shoelaces, offering pens, like little things like this, like if you take it too far and then, you know, in a conversation you're always letting them talk, you know, you're asking them lots of questions and you're never even giving them the space or the silence to just think of a question to ask you. Like, sometimes people will read into this as like you're happy to be a pushover, or they'll read into it like you're easily taken advantage of. And some people who've got lots of friends will just be able to suss out, like, depending on how you navigate a conversation and navigate like a brief social interaction, they'll be able to tell that like you don't have many friends. Some people might read into that in an empathetic way and want to kind of like make friends with you even more, but then other people will be a bit harsh and be like, I can tell that she doesn't have many friends, I don't really want to be friends with her. Like, you shouldn't actually think about other people as much as you are. You should think about other people less. Is wild advice. Normally the advice you give people is to be more selfless, but honestly, if you click on this video, you're probably very, very selfless, almost too much. Simple things that I did to actually be more selfish in social interactions, and selfish might even not be the word, it's just think about other people less. Simple things like I won't actually try to make every conversation a great conversation. Like beforehand, I used to want to prove myself each time I met someone new and be like, this is going to be a great conversation. I'm going to be so funny. I'm going to try my best to like impress them. I'm going to make my biggest effort to like have a really good first impression. And that's obviously great for the part of you that's trying to get better at making friends. But as time goes on, actually stop thinking about them. Stop thinking about their perception of you, and like start thinking about yourself more. For example, now in conversations, I don't make it my effort to try and like impress people or make them laugh. I am more focused on like just enjoying my own time. Like I was speed dating the other day, which is a whole other story. I went on a speed date which lasted like 2 hours, and I went on dates with like 20 people, 20 guys, and honestly half the time I was literally just like, I'm laughing at my own jokes. Like I don't know if that's a red flag or not, but like I wasn't really fussed about impressing them. Like I didn't really care about like trying to make them laugh. Did they like me? Like I'm here for fun. Like I was with my friend, she was next to me and I could see her on the dates, and I was just having a good time. Like try to think about them less. Try to think about impressing them less. And I think part of that is literally just like, don't make every conversation like an objective. Like you don't have to give off this impression. You don't have to give off the impression that you're charismatic or confident. Like don't try to force these impressions on yourself and on other people. Like just have the conversation and see how it goes. Chances are you probably also say yes really quickly. Like if anyone asks you a favour or to come to an event to help out with something, you'll just be like, yes, like of course I'll help you. Like when it comes to being selfish, start saying no more. Saying no more regularly is honestly one of the best things you can do for your self-esteem. I can't even begin to describe. Like I had a phase in 2023 where I was saying no more just to like regain control over my life. I felt like my week was just getting jam-packed with stuff that I didn't want to do because I was saying yes to so much stuff, and I was like, I have no time for me and like spend time with my mum. I have no time to literally just call her and be like, how are you doing, because I've got so much stuff. Start saying no more. It's one of the best things that you can do. I'm so glad this year, in the last half of 2023 and 2024, I say no so comfortably. I don't even care about the other person's feelings, and it's never like I'm trying to hurt their feelings or I'm literally trying to be horrible. I'm not at all. It's just I'm thinking about myself more. Like I'm not thinking about you, and it's just because if I'm saying no, I can't help you out with this thing, it's literally because if I'm saying no, I can't help you out with this thing, it's literally because I can't. I'm saying no for a reason. Like it's a win-win if I say no. I'm protecting myself and my time because I don't have the time for it, and you can go and get someone else who has the time. Like, you know what I mean? It's a win-win. Don't force yourself to say yes just so that the other person will like you, because that's not good for you. You have to think of yourself. The last reason why I think nice people are the most lonely is because we're probably the most comfortable with being alone. Like if you identify as a nice person and you resonate with all the things I've said in this video, you're probably one of those people that's just really comfortable with your own time. You're probably an introvert. I used to be so interested in the Myers-Briggs personality traits, and back in the day I was an INFJ, which I literally had a phase where I was addicted to like looking at all the different videos and like searching online to like learn more about INFJs in my community and other INFPs and all the introvert stuff. And like, yeah, we're just so comfortable with being on our own. We're so comfortable being on our own, but then we also know how to like feign being an extrovert. Like we're really good at pretending that we're outgoing. And I just think if you're a nice person and you feel quite lonely, it's probably because for some time you've maybe not even realised that you're so comfortable being alone and you don't actually make an effort to push yourself into being more outgoing and asking to meet up with people, asking to go out for a coffee, because you just feel so comfortable in it. You're not like pushing yourself. And then because you've just sat in your comfort zone for so long, you end up just being lonely. I mean, it's even more tricky in this day and age when like I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. Like inflation and just the cost of living makes it hard to go out and see friends sometimes. Like the price of coffee now is ridiculous depending on what city you're in, and like if you just want to go for like brunch or a meal, dinner, like whatever, like it's not like it used to be. Like you really have to like, oh, I'm gonna have to budget like a good £20 to see my friend, and then I'm gonna have to get transport, like the traffic. It's just like, it's a lot harder nowadays. And I think one thing that I haven't yet conquered is like just inviting people around my house, like, hey, come over, like let's come revise, like in my kitchen, like in my dining room, in my room. Like I'm not yet that comfortable with that. And I honestly think sometimes because I struggled so much in school, I didn't learn all the basic social skills, like actually the basic things, like just inviting people to your house. That's not, why am I making that such a big deal in my head? But like, because I didn't learn how to do it at school as a teenager, I'm now like 23 and I'm like working this thing up in my head, trying to text someone like to come over, and it's just like I'm making a big deal out of nothing. Again, I'm thinking too much about the other person. I'm not thinking enough about myself. Like, Christina, it doesn't matter if they think that you typed up a weird message. Like, just ask them over. Like, bring them over to your house. Like, things are too expensive nowadays. Like, I can't be going for like a £25 meal just to catch up with a friend. invite them over. Being nice for too long and making it your just go-to habit to be super nice, I honestly think can ruin your personality over time, because you start to like forget who you are. Like, but beneath all of the niceness and politeness, you literally don't even know what you stand for, and you have to kind of set aside time and set aside a good chunk of effort to like rediscover what you like what your opinions are. Beneath all of that, who actually are you? I've made a whole entire video on this topic, and I'd love to know what you think about this, because I feel like so many people struggle with this, but it's not really spoken about online. Make sure you watch that video and let me know what you think.